hello. How you doing? Let me put this in the right orientation. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome to the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Hey, listen, it's all Payne here, and I know people are beating this story about not Memphis, but the Jacksonville punch, the traffic stop that went crazy, and but before we get to that, I think I have an angle that I haven't heard anybody talk about. So we don't have a lot of links to share today, and I might have a couple of bonus things that I want to share with you guys after we talk about this situation. Other than that, we're gonna wait for some folks to come in. I know it's early, wherever the hell you the West and all that kind of good stuff. But hey, man, it's I hear a lot of conservative folks on the because I watch a lot of conservative content. And so many people, I think, get this wrong. I don't know if any of you guys know Officer Tatum. I mean, it's like they completely ignore the sucker punch. And I have a lot of issues with that. So we'll get into that in a second. If you're coming in, make sure you hit the like button for the network and send a cash app over to keep the network running. And that'll be nice. Super chat, I should say. And cash app to the EMU network, as far as I'm concerned. It's cool if you want to throw them my way, but I don't really ask for those things. Maybe 100 will be here today. I don't know. Hopefully everything's all right with him and his family. We tag team every so often. But everybody needs a night off if they need to take one. Other than that, let me know who's there. Just type something in the chat so I can say hello to you, and we'll just move on. Like I said, this should be a short one, and I have like I said, a couple of bonus things I'd like to share with the network. It's a couple of ladies that I listen to, and I think we should promote them. Hey, what's going on, 100? All right. Once you come on camera, you'll pop up. Anyway, hopefully everybody can hear me. What's going on, man? Antoine, what's up? Okay. Oh yeah, no problem. No problem. We got time. I can move it on. 100. All right, man. What's going on, Antoine? Antoine. My cousin named Antoine. I mean, I watch too much Anton Daniels, and I go the opposite. Every time I see somebody named Antoine, I say Anton. I should be like, hey, just chill out. It's Antoine. I know everybody's familiar with this situation. So you see the title of the show, and that's my big thing. I did a video on that on my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. And I wish I would have had a chance to talk to that stupid ass, I don't want to call him a stupid ass, but I wanted to call that police chief the brother, as he's giving us all that cornmeal bullshit about we got to do an analysis of the sucker punch. That's I have a real big problem with the sucker punch. Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna kind of get started. And one of the things that I did check out was the lead attorney, and I'll get to his point in a second. But if you think about this whole live that we're doing tonight, is this two things could be true at the same time, meaning my boy McNeil could be an idiot, and a cop can be brutal, right? He committed assault. Both of those things could be true. And then of course, two wrongs don't make a right. And then to see that police chief get up there and equivocate and all that other horse shit. Now, of course, you got to analyze and do an evaluation of the situation. Now, we know the cop is not going to get criminally charged. I don't have any real issue with that. Not really. But stop trying to tell us we didn't see him sucker punch the brother. And also stop trying to tell us that he didn't punch him in the face because he's a brother. And he was just upset that this guy didn't comply. Now, the cops can't go kicking people's ass, which we know they do all the time, just because they're mad. If we're down at that level, then everybody's at danger, is in danger. And therein lies the rub. We got a whole bunch of people running around the streets, which you want to respect. But I think sometimes the brothers in the neighborhood, black men, black women, are not being trained properly when they're confronted with somebody with a license to kill, right? And make no mistakes, cops have a license to kill. Now, it's got to be the right circumstances, but sometimes they're the arbiter of those circumstances, and that's why we have so many trials and so many civil suits out there, because sometimes, this still subject to the human condition. I'm saying that shit a lot these days because I think we give people too much credit that they're going to do the right thing when they're under stressful situations, or when they're in advantageous situations or disadvantaged situations. So the human condition is a big ass deal, especially somebody with a gun and a license to kill. So that's how I look at it. Now, I'm not inherently afraid of the cop. I'm not. I don't run around the street every time I hear a siren. I'm worried. I feel sorry for people who feel that way. But then again, it depends on where you live, and it depends on what kind of fuck shit that you're into, right? So those are the kind of things that are important. So when we start talking about this traffic situation, I think the one thing that get left out, and the lead attorney did a good job at this too, was it even a legal stop? Right? Was it even a legal stop? Now, I'm not giving any credit to McNeil Jr. He doesn't get any credit for this. By the way he acted, okay? He was driving dirty. It turns out he had a suspended license. Now, did that make him act like an idiot at the scene? Did he have a little point that, hey, man, you just stopped me because you just stopped me for no reason at all? The truth of the matter is, by the letter of the law, he's probably correct. But I'm not giving him any credit that he knew the law, okay? It just worked out in his favor. And the lead attorney is going to break down exactly why, I think it's William McNeil, why he is correct, that he would have been correct had they fought based on the premise that the lead attorney talked about, right? Because the cop absolutely was wrong for stopping him based on the letter of the law. So, so without further ado, while everybody comes in, I'm gonna just get this thing started. And I only got like 4 clips. They're not long, but the lead attorney, it's always good to hear him talk. But he breaks down why that if this guy would have had a proper attorney, he might not have gotten even that convicted of what he got convicted of. What is it? Resisting arrest without force, because he probably shouldn't have been stopped in the first place. And if he had a lawyer worrying about that, as opposed to race baiting, like the ones that he had for some civil case down the road, he might not even have that ticket. So anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and let the lead attorney talk, and so I can shut up and all that kind of stuff. So here goes the lead. Now this is like maybe 4 minutes, and he's gonna ask some questions, but it's gonna be clear to all of us after the lead finishes talking that the stop, if it was properly adjudicated by a lawyer, should have never happened. Okay, Lee, where are you? Here you are. Oh, wow. That one. There you go.
On the video as we see it, I believe it is not currently raining. What did we say about the law? We said, young law student, that every vehicle operated upon a highway, every driver is required to have their headlights on during any rain, smoke, or fog. So was this driver required to have his headlights on? If the officer pulled the driver over during the rain, then yes. But if the officer pulled the driver over when it was not raining, then no. Now, law student of mine, I'm going to give you a quick pop quiz. I am going to have you analyze some of the comments of the regular people, the people who are not in law school like you are. And I want to see if you can identify any issues with how these laymen are thinking about this case. Here's the first comment. It says the ground is wet and there are water particles on his windows. Just because it isn't currently raining doesn't negate the fact that inclement weather was and is still problematic. All right, law student of mine, do you see a problem with this argument? Let's look at this one. TLA, we can see that there is water on the vehicle and that the skies are cloudy. So even if it wasn't raining in the video, it probably was raining before they started rolling. Law student, future lawyer, do you see a problem with this comment? All right, now let's see what Officer Tatum has to say about this. Let's see if we can spot any issues to his thinking, to his rationale, or is lackluster wrong? Let's take a look.
You're going to hear this guy talk about it. You see people say it online. It's the most asinine and ridiculous claim. It's because they hate police and they always want the police to be wrong. So they will make up anything. It wasn't raining. Look at this video. This is fresh rain droplets still hanging onto his vehicle. If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his car.
Let's stop it right there. Officer Tatum says if it wasn't inclement weather, you wouldn't see rain droplets still on his car. Now, guys, I got a question for you, and I'm going to see who are the A students and who are the B students, all right? There are two problems with what Brandon Tatum just said. He said that if it wasn't inclement weather, you still wouldn't see the rain droplets on the car. Can you identify the two problems with this statement? I'll give you 5 seconds, all right? And while you're considering it, it's very hard to get an A in law school, okay?
So yeah, anybody out there in the audience, see if you know what's wrong. Yeah, because he did read the statute, and if you picked up what he read, it should be quite evident. Now, I think I only got a B plus. You know, I didn't get quite the A, but I did get an A when I thought about this, because I did get the A. But you know what? There's nobody to prove that I was right.
All right, time's up. If you got this answer, then at least you have a B. What's the problem with what he said? Let's go back and take a look.
Look at this video. This is fresh rain droplets still hanging onto his vehicle. If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his car.
He said if it wasn't inclement weather, you wouldn't see raindrops on the car. What is the B answer? The B answer is, Officer Tatum, respectfully, you can see raindrops on a car when it's not raining. The rain could have stopped 5 minutes ago. It could have stopped 15 minutes ago. It could have stopped 30 minutes ago. Just because there are raindrops on a car does not mean that it's raining. If you got that answer, then I will give you a B. All right. That's the layup answer. But do you see a second problem with what he said? And let me just replay it because it's hard to catch.
If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his car.
Did you catch it? Guys, I will tell you that if you are an attorney, you have to pay such close attention to every single word. What did Officer Tatum say? He said, if it wasn't inclement weather. What's the problem with that? The problem is inclement weather isn't a thing. It's nowhere in the statute. Guys, here is the complete statute that governs when your lights must be on, your headlights. Again, we see here during any rain, smoke, or fog. Do you see anything about inclement weather? As a lawyer, you have to pay attention to when people try to introduce new words, new meanings into an argument. Nowhere in here does it talk about inclement weather. So when Officer Tatum says, hey, it's inclement weather, and you have to know as a law student that he's introducing new words that are not in the statute.
All right, so you guys get the point there, right? Now, the subtleties of what the lead attorney is doing right now, or what he did, I don't know if it came up in court. It probably didn't. Now, two things are probably true at the scene. One, I can guarantee you that William McNeil, I believe it's William Jr., had no idea of the letter of the law. Okay, he was just driving dirty. Okay, his license was suspended, and he probably shouldn't have been under. But he didn't get stopped for that until they found out. They said that he didn't have his seatbelt on, but clearly, when you see the video, he did. I don't know if he put it on later or not, but before he got sucker punched, you saw a seatbelt on. Clearly, they had to take the seatbelt off and drag him out of the car. But he certainly didn't know that all of those details in the statute. I'm sure of that. And the cop probably didn't know the strict details in that statute either. He thought that if there was raindrops on the car, that he had a good stop just because, he could do it, right? And he said, well, you're driving without your lights on. Clearly, it was daytime. It wasn't raining at the time. So by the letter of the law, he should have never made that stop. But he did, and we all know why he did, right? What's going on, 100? What's happening?
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
Definitely
been listening along.
I say what?
I said I've definitely been listening along.
No, that's cool. I just wanted to say, listen, everybody else is talking about this case, so we had to at least bring it to BMU Network too. We have to cover it our own way because I haven't heard anybody come up with the punchline that I'm gonna come up with down the road. But the lead attorney actually showed that the traffic stop was with a good lawyer, it shouldn't have never happened. Based on the statute in Jacksonville, that wasn't a good traffic stop. He just stopped him because he was a black man. Yeah, and he probably looked like a doofus because he looks like he looks kind of like a doofus anyway. But you know what? And when he got sucker punched, that wasn't the time when his tooth got chipped. I think it's when they threw him on the ground. Because when we get to it, when you see the sucker punch, right? He opens his mouth and says, I'm complying. First of all, I got to give him this. I thought he took the punch pretty well. I thought he took the punch pretty well. You know what I'm saying?
Most people don't take it. It was two things. He did take it well, but whoever threw it didn't connect right.
Yeah, I hear you. It was
kind of a scrape. It was more of a scrape than an actual punch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I grant you that. Yeah, he did. But I said, man, he bounced back up pretty good, man. But he didn't deserve that punch. But we're gonna get to the anatomy of the punch, okay? Because what I said, but I know you was listening. When I want to say it again, I think two things could be true at the same time. He could have been an idiot at the stop, and if he got trained to be so petrified when he sees a cop that you don't comply, my only question to him would be this. Would it be, if you think a cop is dangerous, do you think it makes your situation better at the scene to be belligerent or to comply?
I think most people with a good lawyer just get their ass in the backseat of the car and go to a jail cell and call the lawyer when they get to the police station. I think most people with a good lawyer would do that.
He might not even went to jail. I mean, if he would have just said, okay, here's my shit, right? I think he knew that his license was suspended, so he was going to be in a pickle no matter what.
Yeah, see, and you come on, fam. You doing too much wrong to be loud. Like, you can't be wrong and strong at the same time. You need more grace. Because you are driving without a driver's license, you need more grace than somebody with a driver's license. So right now is not the time for you to be trying to stand on some fucking principle, cuz.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying, wait a minute. So I think maybe that precipitated him saying, maybe it's a way for me to get out of this, because if I give him my suspended license, I'm gonna be here. Because too bad Trey ain't here, because I need to ask. Maybe you know this. If a cop stops you and your license is suspended, they're not. I don't know if they have the discretion, but they're not gonna let you get back in the car and drive home, are they?
Yes, they can.
They can. They have the discretion to do that.
It's. I've had it happen in my life.
All right. So I didn't know that. Because I thought once they find that this shit is like suspended, That was it. You know that you have to have somebody come get your car. Not that they're gonna haul you into jail, but I guess if they had the discretion to do that, so he could have, if he would have complied, even with the suspended license, he might not have gotten in no trouble. Maybe it depends on how long it was suspended.
Look, officer, I know it's suspended. I was just leaving work. I'm on my way home. I'm working on saving the money. If you could just talk to the officer rather than what the fuck you pulled me over for? What the fuck you pulled me over for? You know what I'm saying?
No, I ain't getting out. Where's your supervisor? Where's his
Oh, that's how you want to play it?
That's exactly right. Oh, we're gonna elevate this shit. You mean
2131? Can I get
That's exactly what happened. First, he wasn't gonna call nobody. He said this is a routine traffic stop. As soon as he said I ain't getting out, he had to call backup. That costing the city and everybody money. That's just what it's exactly what happened. And you know what? What I wanted to do was play that part of it. Because before we get to the sucker punch, let's play how this guy got himself in the pickle. Maybe we could chop that up and see, what he could have did better or done better. Just which one is it? Okay. Yeah, I got it. All right. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
I don't need a light.
Okay, so he said inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Now, the lead attorney just told us that that's not even in the statute, right? The law doesn't say you have to have your lights on in inclement weather. It has to be raining. It has to be excessive smoke, or not even excessive smoke or fog.
And it's not raining. It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement?
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
So let me ask you, okay. Let's just say my man McNeil Jr., right? Let's just say he knew the law, that he knew that, it wasn't raining, and the law says that you can only stop me during raining when it is raining and my lights are off. But now that he has, quote unquote, technically he's right, he shouldn't have been stopped. What do you say about his behavior, knowing, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt, that he knew he shouldn't have been stopped?
Because there is still a human element involved. If you want to stand on that principle, on the side of the road is not the time to do it. If you truly want to stand on the principle, take the ticket, show up on the court date, and argue it in front of a judge. Because on the side of the road, you're going to do nothing but get your ass beat or shot.
Exactly.
It's not the time for it. Because even if you know the letter of the law, a human is not gonna let you just shame them like that. Like, oh, you just gonna expect like somebody with power like that. You're just gonna what? You know what I'm saying? Now you're gonna peacock a little bit. It's just a human element, and police are human, so they're gonna do some ignorant shit like reach through your window and punch you in your mouth.
Punch you in the face. I mean, okay, so here's my thing, all right? So, okay, tell me what you think about his behavior at this next point. All right, let's just watch this.
Call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor. Why did you pull me over?
Sorry, 35. I've already told you.
Why did you pull me over?
Step out of the vehicle.
No,
Step out of the vehicle.
Okay, now, okay. What kind of behavior was slamming the door like that?
No, that just slamming the door like that presents so many different dangers for a police officer that you just made it worse for yourself just by slamming the door.
But okay, that's number one. I mean, there's probably a myriad of things. One, now the police officer, plus your windows are dark. Now he don't know whether you're reaching for something. He don't know nothing now. You slam the door like that. But that, I hate to use the term, But that seemed like feminine behavior to me. That seemed like hysterical feminine behavior. You know what I'm saying? I'm a slam the door, and this door is gonna keep me safe from your wrath. You know, just by I'm gonna dig in. And have my mental hysterics behind the wheel because you can't. You're not telling me what I want. That's all I got was like real feminine. I don't think I would ever just like, I'll be slamming the door. Now the conversation's over because my door's closed.
So he slammed his door to talking to his camera. That was some bitch shit to do. That was real soft.
Now forget about turning on the camera was a smart thing. But the fact that, that he thought just slamming the door would save him from, the wrath of the police. It's crazy. It's like irrational. It was overly emotional right from the rip, as far as I'm concerned. Even when he said, well, the cop told you what he stopped you for. Maybe you don't agree, but he told you. You don't like it. But I just said, man, this guy's digging himself deeper in the hole. All right, so
the psychology of this, like as if I'm thinking about it from the perspective of the police officer, the psychology of this just presents as if you have more to hide. Like I pulled you over for your fucking lights, bro. Like that's really all I pulled you over for. But you acting like this presents as if you have more to hide.
Exactly.
What's in your car?
Yeah, what's in your car? What are you doing? Okay, so we know. So I would give a point to the cops on the way this guy behaved. He escalated the situation that should have never got to this point. Officers, hey, listen, I need your, I stopped you, roll your window down, whatever. Here's my shit, like license, registration, all that kind of stuff. Oh, my license is out of spot. The cop would have still went back and see if you had any warrants, like they always do. And then he comes back and said, well, you're in violation because your thing is out of thing. And then now if we had a cordial conversation, he still might give me a ticket. I might say, hey, listen, I'm on a mile away. Maybe you can follow me home so I could just drop the car. That kind of shit. He might say, nah, you got to get somebody to come drive it. It depends on the attitude of the cop, right? And how much you piss them off. So now we way past that part. So we don't have to go through the rest of this. Let's go ahead and look some more, whatever happened, so we can really see how these guys are agitated.
Sorry about a second. For the 9-4, the driver just slammed the door and locked it.
All right, go for it. Exit the vehicle now.
Now he said go for it because he had to get permission to break the windshield.
Exit the vehicle. Show me your hand. Here.
33 at 16 hours.
I'm here. What's your reason, sir? What is your reason? Step out now. All right. Get on the ground. No. Get on the ground. Put your hands behind your back. Resist. Hands behind your back. What's wrong with you?
What do you mean? I was putting my hands behind my back. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over? Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one.
All right. So now you can see in the cops video, you don't get to see clearly that he sucker punched him after the window got broken. All right. So we know that. I think that the brother brought a lot of this shit on himself. Let's just say that if the cop never sucker punched him, to me, this would have been a traffic stop because the guy was just an idiot and he, had it, accelerated it all on his own. But just by being
based on the scenario, I'm not even mad at him getting punched in the face. Like tactically speaking, like because most people don't take a punch like that. So if you hit him like that, because the window's open now. So now that the window's open, if I punch him in his mouth and he leans over, I can open the door and get control of him. There's a little bit more control there because most people don't take a punch to the face like that. So I don't even think them punching him like that was wrong. It was like it's just a situation that a motherfucker escalated way too far.
Okay, so what's going on, Trey? You can weigh in on that because that's a different take. you know, just because you're saying that the punch in the face could be legitimized because now it gives me space to open the door and pull you out.
Yeah, I mean, is it in that area of maybe a little bit too much? Sure, possible. I'm not gonna deny that. It's in that space of possibly a little bit too much, but it's justifiable. Like, hey, look, the reason I did it was because A, B, and C. And if you can articulate that, then
All right. Well, okay. So just in time, we got the resident ex-police officer turned billionaire, Trey. You know, so
I wish I was a billionaire.
so Trey. Okay. So you heard what 100 had to say. Tell us what you think about this situation, man, up to the point of the sucker punch. That's how you take a deep breath, man. You agree with 100?
is this from the wall? Is this from the blue wall?
It's clearly a sucker punch. I'm not going to argue that. It's obvious that it's a sucker punch. I've been in these situations where you've had guys that are non-compliant from the moment you turn the lights on.
Mm-hmm.
Like from the moment you turn the lights on, you're not going to get any compliance. Looks like he had to get permission to break the window. That's new. We didn't have to get permission. We didn't have to get permission in DC. If I needed to break your window, I would just break it.
Okay.
So that's different. That was new. That was new to me. I gotta be honest with you. I don't know. I'm just being honest with you. I know what the use of force says. The use of force says that it's a no-go,
Okay.
right? Because you have officers' actions based on the subject's actions and what you can and cannot do based on what they're doing. So can you go hands-on with someone who is being passive resistant? Yes, you can. You can go hands-on with them. Can you go hands-on with somebody who's being actively resistant? Yes, you can. But there are certain things that you can and cannot do. For instance, a strike is what that would be called a strike, right?
Okay.
Strikes are typically used as a defensive tactic, meaning he's coming at you, so you use the strikes to back him off. That's obviously not happening in this situation. So therefore, it's an unwarranted, it's a use of force violation. It's an unwarranted strike. However, in this particular situation, you got a guy who's not going to do what you're asking him to do. And I've said this before, just because you ask for a supervisor doesn't negate everything that the officer is telling you to do. You can ask for a supervisor and still have to do everything the officer is telling you to do, and you will be sit there in handcuffs until the supervisor gets there. Because they're typically not on the street. They're typically in the office. It means he got to get up from his desk, put his gun belt on, go get in the car, and drive out to where y'all are at. So it's going to take a minute, typically. They normally aren't on the street. So the issue is here. And for those of you guys who want to play race politics, I never treated white or black people any differently. If I slammed a black man on his head, I slammed a white man on his head too. I promise you. I promise you I have. I never treated them any differently. Ever, because you guys love to play this race politics thing. But let me ask y'all this question, because the only thing everybody sees here, you guys are doing a very good job of seeing the entire picture, but most people are not even seeing the entire picture. All they see is a sucker punch.
The sucker punch, yeah.
Will we ever get to the sucker punch if he was compliant?
No, I don't
Way
think so.
too many things led up to that.
Matter of fact, the answer is probably no. The answer is no. We wouldn't have got sucker punched.
So the answer is no. What people love to say is that you can be compliant and still harm can come your way. And if we actually go look at the statistics, that's not what the statistics say. That's not true. That if you are actually compliant with police officers, in most cases, in over 95% of the time, nothing happens to you. The only time I've ever had to use force when I was on a department was because somebody wasn't doing what I asked them to do. That's the only time. If you did what you were asked to do, Nothing happened to you. And I can be and the people who always want to tell these stories, they never tell the full story. And this is how I can prove it to you that they never tell the full story. When you are arresting someone, and if you've never arrested anyone, you don't understand this feeling. But if you are arresting someone, you can feel the tension in their arms and in their hands and in their forearms and in their shoulders. So when you hear officers saying, relax, because we can feel it. I'm touching you. I'm touching you. I'm putting your handcuffs. I can feel you being tense. I can feel you not wanting to give me your arm. And you know, I'm grabbing your arm, you're pulling it away. And this might be something that you're not actually thinking that you're doing. You might be doing it subconsciously, but I can feel you doing it. And I've said to say this many a times, relax, bro. You're tense, relax. So don't put your handcuffs. Ain't nothing gonna happen to you. I promise nothing gonna happen to you. Just relax. People don't feel that. So even when this guy gets out the car, I guarantee you, because he's already so hopped up, they can feel how tense he is.
No doubt, no doubt.
And people never want to admit that. At the end of the day, the fact of the matter is and I've said before, I wish police officers would quit. I really do. I wish they would all just walk off the job. I really do. I wish they would. And I want to see y'all fend for yourselves. Go protect your own 85-year-old grandmother and aunt that you only go visit on holidays. You go over there and go protect. Because everybody has an issue with how police officers do things, but you don't never want to do the job. Ain't no more neighborhood watches. I ain't seen a neighborhood watch since I was a child. You don't even care about your own communities. You got a camera on every nook and cranny of your home, right? Because you're scared. That's the honest truth, because you're terrified. You don't practice on any weapon systems. You got 4 guns in your house and you ain't been to the range in 6 years. So you don't know how to clean your gun or disassemble it. You don't know anything. But as soon as the police have to go do their job, now all of a sudden there's a big issue. That man was given many opportunities to comply.
Right.
And by the way, closing a traffic stop is a reasonable suspicion stop. You are being stopped. Therefore, you must comply. If you choose not to comply, this is typically how things go.
Yeah, and they go south quick too. They go. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think most cops, when they get into this, even from the cop standpoint, they'd rather this shit just be routine. They probably rather more. I mean, they got to overwhelmingly. I stop a person that for whatever reason, I'd rather it go really routine. I asked for this shit, you give me this shit, and I'm hoping this shit ain't fucked up. Because if it's all right, now I can just say, okay, this is what you did, this is the ticket you get. Matter of fact, okay, man, the infraction was in that bigger deal. Here's your shit back, man. Don't do this shit again. Leave. You know, I mean, I would rather. I think most cops probably rather that kind of happens. You know, if it's a ticket, you just take your ticket like Michael Jackson said, take your ticket right. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's it. But
I think if most people realize that most cops are legitimately just trying to clock in and clock out. If you just realize that most of these niggas are on the street legitimately, like they're not trying to write any tickets, they don't want to respond to any calls. He's not trying to help. Like he's legitimately just trying to clock in and clock out, go back home to his wife and his kids, and go drink his beer on the couch. That's legitimately what most cops are trying to do. Of course, there's a couple of gung-ho, I want to solve all the crimes and clean the streets. There's a couple of them that's out there, but most of these niggas are just trying to collect a paycheck, just like you are at the job you don't like.
Can I tell you where those gung-ho guys are at? There's 2 places those guys are. Typically, your first and second year officers where the job is still new to them, right? And they're typically your specialized units, your jump out boys, right? Those are your gung-ho guys, right? Because they live by statistics. They don't get to stay on those specialized units unless they have stats. So basically we used to call it all the time. You got to put some bacon on the table, or else you don't get to stay on those special units. So they need to go get guns and drugs. They have to. Otherwise, you get sent back to being an officer. That's how it works. So yeah, you do have a bunch of gung-ho guys in it, but they typically are a part of, they're either brand new or they're a part of these specialized, you know, these narcotics units or these gang task force units or all that type of stuff. At the end of the day, statistics are clear. You have a much better chance of no harm happening to you if you comply. That's what the statistics show. And if you are written a ticket and you don't agree with the ticket, there are ways to adjudicate that ticket in the traffic bureaus. There's a way to. I've seen plenty of people get out of tickets, plenty, just by showing up to the adjudicator and arguing their case in front of the adjudicator.
Let me do this. What's going on, King Rooster? What's happening, man?
What's happening? I'm listening to your show, and a lot of this stuff is not correct. It is not. I know some people that work in that right there, in that line of duty, and that is not the way it goes. Certain stuff that's said that's unheard by the average person. I hear certain things, and I have seen certain things.
Enlighten us.
So stop being vague and be specific.
No, but I'm gonna tell you like this. A lot of times, those so-called routine traffic stops, they are intentional.
No such thing as a routine traffic stop.
Okay, but
okay, they say routine. That's why I put my finger.
I use the word routine, but just go ahead. Say what you mean.
Okay. A lot of these stops are targeted. You know what I'm saying? They are targeted stops. Like once the police stops in a certain area, or they are patrolling a certain area, they are actively on a hunt for something. Because it's like a report card. You got to get your grades right. You got a quota to fill too. They don't want you just sitting in one spot and not producing something.
Okay, so
at the end of the month.
Hold on. Because we're talking about somebody who has never done this job. Never. Versus somebody who did do this job.
But all at the same time, and
there is no quota.
Go ahead.
There's no quota. I never had a quota.
Lie. That's a lie.
Sir, I don't know you enough, and nor do I have enough respect for you to lie to you. I don't know you. There is no quota.
So how do you know?
There was never a time where a sergeant or a lieutenant or a captain told me I need this many tickets this month. It never happened.
Right. So I'm finna show you something about the lies. Some is a simple lie, right? He said, I don't know you, but you assume that I may not be a cop, right? So how would you assume
are you a cop?
See,
are you a cop?
Y'all operate off of assumptions.
Are you a cop? Are you a cop?
You should have asked that first before you said.
I'm asking now.
This is a person that has not done this, yada, right?
I'm asking now.
Okay, now
I'm asking
No.
I'm asking
you did that to yourself. No, you did
I'm
that
asking
to yourself.
No. That's what you
all
do.
No, you did that to yourself.
Yes or no? By the way, you came on here and you said that you know more. Okay, let us have this conversation, because he came on here and he said that he knows people in this career field. That's what you said. So I made the assumption that it wasn't you, because you said you know people. You didn't say I was in this career field.
Just like the officer.
It's called a context clue.
That he had a good target, right? He assumed that he had a good target. The good target would
be you still haven't answered the question.
Black guy with dreads. He assumed.
Answer the question. You didn't answer the question. Are you a cop?
I don't have to answer that question.
Are you a cop?
Yeah. I'm American. I don't have to answer that question.
Oh man, you got
no. But
your car is getting searched. Hey, your car is getting searched.
This is the typical
but
the pro-blacks, and they don't have an answer for anything. You don't have any solutions.
Now, that's another assumption. You mean to tell me you believe that I'm pro-black? Bro,
yes, that's exactly what I believe.
Stuff I done said over. See, that's what I'm saying about knowing. Assuming makes an ass out of you and me. You assume that I am pro-black.
Do you
based
understand
on me being on the internet?
Do you understand that a cop making it back to the end of his shift is all based on assumption and prejudgment? Everything he does when he leaves that station is all about assuming. Anytime he responds to a call, anytime he pulls somebody over, anytime his radio goes off, whenever he pulls up and he has to make contact with somebody, Everything is an assumption. I don't know who's the suspect. I don't know who's the victim. I don't know who did the wrong. I don't know who the wrong was done to. I don't know who has a weapon, who doesn't. Everything is based on an assumption. So what are you saying right now?
But that means you become a dangerous person if you are assuming everybody is dangerous to you. You are the dangerous person. You're the dangerous person. You should assume that you.
Rooster, you came up here assuming. You came up here saying that you assume that everything is targeted. You talking about targeting?
No. I'm saying I didn't say all. I didn't say all. I did not say all. I said most of the times those people who are stopped are targeted. Not all.
We disagree with the most of the time. Forget the all. We disagree with the most of the time. Okay, but still, hold on, before you say
I left you a certain percentage of people that are not targeted.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question based on the topic. So, you don't think that my man McNeil Jr. did anything wrong because he assumed that he was being targeted?
Well, I don't know.
Should he have complied? Yes or no? Should he have complied? Should he have complied? Yes or no?
Well, what I think is he should have used those Fifth Amendment rights and just sat up there and looked at him crazy and not gave him anything. Yeah, I would have looked, but what they'll do is by the assumption of you being silent, certain states can call and say, well, we're not getting a response out of this person. Let's see if we can check him into a paddy wagon to send him to a mental hospital because we don't have nothing else on him. They can do that in certain places. I know what they can do. I'm not just talking. Try it in Texas. Try it in Texas.
So you're saying that if I get stopped because my lights are off, right, by a cop,
right,
I should go ahead all the way to the point where he got to put me in a paddy wagon and put me in a fucking insane asylum. Come on, man.
If you get stopped,
I would just give you what I would do. I would just give him my license. That's what I would give him. I say, you want my license? You want my registration? That's what I would have done. You think I want to go to the paddy wagon with my stupid fucking Fifth Amendment right?
Listen.
I mean, what are you talking about?
Listen to what was going on, bro. After he was targeted, right? And when they made the initial stop, the guy didn't have no license to present, right? So the thing is, he was supposed to just be quiet, just don't say nothing, because you're already in the wrong. But under assumptions that he was in the wrong, they didn't know whether he had license or not. You see what I'm saying? So it's look.
He still would have had to get out of the car. He still would have had to get out of the car. No.
Arpang, who's the car registered to? Is the car registered to him?
I think it was his mother or something like that. I didn't check that out.
Right.
I know
so if they ran that tag, why would they have to ask him any questions?
Because he's in a car that
does not register to him. You actually ask more questions. I would actually ask more questions.
If I run your tag, why would I have to ask you anything? You're clearly not a woman. I'm seeing.
So why isn't a woman driving the car then?
Because we have the freedom to lend out vehicles.
Okay, so it's so verbalize that. Express that.
Identify yourself.
Yeah, express that. All you have to say is this is my mother's car.
Okay. But in the United States of America, I don't know the police. It's not your business who I am until further notice.
He has a name tag.
Okay.
Not only do you know his the first initial of his name, his last name, and his badge number, and who he works for.
No, but listen what I'm saying. I see your name tag up there, right? It's Trey, but I don't know you. I still don't know you. I don't have to talk to you.
I understand.
I can talk to these two gentlemen up here. I don't know you, and where I'm coming from and where I'm going is not your business. That's private.
I agree. I agree. I encourage people all the time to never tell the officers where you're going and where you're coming from. You're not required to tell them that. I agree with you 100%. That is irrelevant to what's going on right now.
When they ask those questions, it sounds like you're prying in my business.
Of course they're prying. That's their job. That's what they get paid to do.
Okay, and it's
But
my
but
duty
but
as an
you
American
but you but
citizen
you
to say
but you as an American,
I don't want to talk.
absolutely, exactly. Be smart. But
And then
are
I don't
most
want to display who I am also.
well, if that's federal
Because
law,
I can give you my property and you can refuse to give it back based on you having a gun and a badge. No, I don't have
you
to.
have
Only person
yes,
that
you
has
do.
to is the people operating under commercial, because you're doing it for commerce money. You don't have to tell a cop who you are. You don't.
Let me put it to you like this.
You don't have to tell a cop who you are. He's a human being just like you.
Maybe in Texas they do things differently. But if you're here in Washington,
I'm not
DC,
from Texas.
Okay, well, wherever you are from, if you're here
The
in
United
Washington,
States of
DC,
America.
got it. In Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States of America, if you are under a reasonable stop, a reasonable suspicion stop, and you refuse to
It's
identify
different over
yourself,
there because everything
if you refuse, it's not federal. If it's a municipality,
Yes, it is.
sir, no, it's not. Again, you don't know what you're talking about. I did this job. There are portions of Washington, D.C. that are federal grounds. Then they are patrolled by federal police. They are patrolled by federal police officers. Everything else is a municipality, which is patrolled by the Metropolitan Police Department. That's how it works. That's what I worked for. If you refuse under a reasonable suspicion stop to showcase your ID, you can be arrested. That's how it works.
Okay, you might.
Wherever you're from might be wherever you're from might be different. But here in Washington, D.C., and I also believe that's the case in Maryland. I live in Maryland. So I believe it's the case in Maryland too. You have to identify yourself if you are under a reasonable suspicion stop.
But you know where those locations are, right? You know what's over there, right? Where y'all got all the monuments, all the Secret Service stuff. So everything federal, bro. I can understand that. But over here in the other good part of the United States, the good parts of the United States, you don't have to know my business because we are not around all of that secret the big buildings and we ain't around it.
Yeah, but
What part is that? Because I ain't never been there. What part of the United States is that? Because I ain't never been there.
Well, my bad that you have not traveled.
So that way I don't assume. I'm asking you what parts of the country they are, because you're assuming that I haven't traveled, because I would assume that I've probably been to more countries on this planet than you may have, but I'm not going to make that assumption.
Okay, and just like I would tell an officer, my good sir, that's not any of your business. I plead the fifth.
All right, you know what, man? Listen, before we go further,
go ahead.
You know what? Before I want to show the actual punch, because I want to just keep this going. Come back to this, because I know it's good that we have like an agent up here, like you used to right now, just to kind of keep things lively and shit. You know, because if you get stopped by a cop, and I think in any state, and it's a reasonable stop, you're gonna have to give them some information, or else they're gonna take your ass in. I don't know what state you're gonna be in, or municipality where you could just tell the cop, stick it, man. I'm not showing you shit on a real traffic stop. But let me just show this, and we'll come back to some of this conversation. All right, so here's the sucker punch.
Can you call your supervisor? All right, go for it. Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle.
Yeah, that is William McNeil Jr. He took that video from inside the car there. He was reportedly...
Go for it. Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle.
Yeah, that is William McNeil Jr. He took that video from inside the car there. He was reportedly pulled over for driving without his headlights on, despite it being daylight outside, as you can see in that video. It shows him asking the officer to show him the law he was citing and asked to speak to a supervisor. The officer then asks McNeil to exit the car several times, and then when he refuses and shuts the door, deputies punch through the driver's side window to force him out of the car. The Jacksonville sheriff says the officer did not violate criminal law.
Can you call your supervisor?
Right, one more time for the second one.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle.
All right. So, okay. All right.
He would have never tried that in high school with nobody. That cop that did that, he would have never did that in high school with nobody.
This is in high school. That's such a stupid comment to make. This isn't high
He
school.
wouldn't have done it. But that's who they are hiring, bro. That's who the officer.
Yeah.
Okay,
bro.
okay. Well, then you come up with a better hiring solution. What would you like to see instead?
A hiring. I would like to see the average officer get psychologically evaluated because before y'all go.
I said a hiring
Police Academy,
solution.
a lot of y'all
I
got
said a
domestic
hiring-
violence on.
a
I'm telling
hiring
you, the hiring
solution.
process, bro. Look, 40% of
You
y'all
do
got
get
domestic
psych-
violence
you do-
on y'all
you do
record
get-
before y'all
you do
enter
get a
into
psychological
before
evaluation.
y'all enter into no,
You
hold
do
on.
get a
Before
psychological
y'all
evaluation
into look, you see how you try to cut me off?
because
I
you're
would hate
wrong.
for this to be a traffic stop.
You know,
Listen, 40% of cops
No,
have
if
domestic
this
violence
if
on
this
their
were a
record before they
if this
enter
was
into police academy. So
okay,
psychological
great.
evaluations
So
have
you
to
get
be
that-
done.
So that means that 60%
And then
don't.
a lot of them are ex-COs
So that
or
means-
ex-military. So check
that
for
means-
PTSD.
Well, hold
Bro,
on.
y'all crazy, bro.
You get that statistic from, man?
Okay,
Where
so
did you
again,
well, hold on.
So
You
now
get-
we getting on the
Hey, Rooster,
So
where did
you-
you get that statistic from? Where did you get that 40% from?
I'm gonna show you something. Okay, y'all, we are living in the technological era. I ain't got no computer. No, Google it. Google it. Google it.
Why can't you just give us the source?
Because
Why can't you just give us
why
the source
black
that
folks
you
are
use?
behind? Because I'm giving you something. Google it. Everybody got the dumb box in their pocket. Google it. Majority of police. Yeah, use your technology. Majority of police have domestic violence on their record before entering into police academy.
Okay.
Sir.
This is why I say
And
this is
check
why I
for
say-
PTSD, bro.
This is why I say
relax.
this is why I say they should just get rid of the police altogether. They should just get rid of it altogether and let guys like you.
You got
No,
to get
fend
rid
for
of
yourself.
some of it.
No.
And then most black police don't operate as
fend for
nothing but a
yourself.
bird dog, bro. Y'all ride along them white folks, and y'all. A lot of times when y'all look, a lot of times when y'all.
Let's have people, give the people a chance. First of all, I looked it up. They don't have no definitive number on what you just claimed. Okay,
because he made it up.
Not definitive.
But
I ain't
hold
make it
on.
up.
So we're at the punch. We're at the punch point. I don't think
It's
any
like
of us, except for
Okay.
100 Watts, says he don't have no problem with the punch. I don't know. I don't want to mischaracterize what you said, but I still think that that's the other wrong. I think McNeil was wrong for his resistance, and I think the cop was wrong, even though the punch wasn't so damaging that he really, knocked him into Queer Street. But there's a principle of the matter. And my question, just like I'm gonna ask it here, I'm gonna say it again. Do you think that cop would have punched a white woman sitting behind the wheel who did the same exact thing?
He wouldn't have punched a white man.
You think that cop
Yes.
would have punched a
Wouldn't
white
have-
woman?
Yes.
Nope.
I guarantee you
Never
I guarantee you if we pull his use of force history, he's probably got all types of shit in there. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
You know what, man?
Because I've worked with guys who operate recklessly like that. It doesn't matter who you are. They don't care who you are.
Okay, so my question to you,
when
Trey,
did you
is
write a
with the
report on
police
those
chief.
guys, right?
Well, hold on, with the police.
That's not. Do I look like internal affairs to you?
Yeah.
No, that is your job. The duty to intervene,
That is not my.
bro.
That is
That's
not.
the
No,
duty.
it's not.
That's the
No, it's
duty
not.
to intervene.
No, it's
Once
not.
you see
No,
a
it's not.
crime committed,
No, it's not.
you have to report, bro. Yes,
No,
it
it's not.
is. So that means you
Hold on.
letting them
Hold on.
slide, bro.
I'm
That's
not
the
let- I'm
duty
not
to intervene, bro. That's the
Are
duty
you-
to intervene. You can't.
Are you?
Okay.
Are you going to?
Report-
Are you going to talk?
reporting
dirty as them, right?
Are you going to talk
just
with
as dirty
emotion, or
as
you want
them.
to have a
They are.
conversation? Which one you want to do? Which one you want to
I'm
do?
here to point my finger at your nose and say you are
You
alone
can-
with
you
the
can-
program.
You can
Back
point
to
as
blue.
long as you can point as long as you want, but guess what? This shit
You gotta
gonna
let
keep
them talk,
happening.
Rooster. You
Hold
gotta let them
on.
talk.
Hold on. This shit's gonna keep happening because of guys like you. It's gonna keep happening because of guys like you. I promise you.
What kind of
It will
guy am
never
I?
stop.
What kind of guy am
You're
I?
not. You're not very bright. You're not very bright, and you don't have any actual
Evidently,
solutions.
I got to stay in the darkness if police roaming around the streets like you in the
It-
daytime. I
it-
got to
that's
stay in the
probably
dark.
that's
Stay
probably
hid,
that-
buttermilk.
that's
Stay
probably
hid.
best.
I got to
That's
stay
probably
hid because
that's
you know what?
probably best for you.
Because
That's
look,
probably best
use
for
the
you.
bird dog, use the bounty hunter, and them white
Okay.
boys send you into the in the neighborhoods to get intel and
The
hang
white
around
boys I
us, play the
worked-
cool
The
guy.
white boys I worked with were terrified of me because I was the only one that would actually put them in their
Boy,
place.
them white folks ain't terrified of you. You
I got
lie.
suspended for 17 days for getting into a fight with me. So
Rooster, what's the alternative to police?
they knew how I got down.
You mean to
I didn't
tell
say
me
that.
they ain't go to Home Depot
The fuck is that Home Depot?
and get that rope that they sell by the yard? You
Okay.
mean to tell me they ain't
See,
go to Home?
this is that country bumpkin Bama bullshit that you guys come up with. That I don't know nothing about. We don't do that stuff up here. Your accent says otherwise.
Yeah, okay. Okay, hold on.
I'm finna go mute. I've been pulling his toes long enough.
I do have. Hey, Rooster, hold on for a second. Hey, Trav, I do have a question. I heard what you said to the question. Do you think the police chief would have circled the wagon if his boy would have punched a white woman like that, the way he did? Because the police chief is coming up next. Would he have been, he's really quick to protect this guy. You think he would have tried to protect him? I mean, the optics of the whole situation would be different. You have to admit with that. I think it'd be all over the place. I think it's a litmus test. If you wouldn't punch a white woman in the face under the same circumstance, then maybe training needs to be with that as the litmus test. What would I do if it was a white woman? I hear you, but I really don't believe this guy would punch a white woman in the face under the same circumstances. Because breaking the window, I think, is not really an escalation that puts things out of control, right? Because he got permission, break the window, get this guy out of the car. I think
if we pulled his use of force history, you're going to see that. Absolutely. I think his jacket is about that thick, for sure. I don't think this is his first use of force history, because I guarantee you that he didn't count on McNeil having that camera in the car. Guaranteed. He didn't count on McNeil having that camera in the car. So he didn't think he would get caught. I told you, I've worked with guys like this. I know how they operate. So he didn't think that camera was there. And the police chief was probably back up against the wall. I guarantee you, if we going to go look at his use of force history, there's white men in there, there's black men in there, there's black women in there, there's white women in there, there's Hispanic women in there. I guarantee you, it's all of them. These types of guys don't care.
How do you know this, Robert W? How you heard some history that he did this to a white man? I don't know. Maybe he has some information we don't know. But I agree with you. Okay, I hear you. Now I think he's even more empowered now that he got off. Right, he's going to get off. No criminal charges.
Robert said 6 months ago he did it to a white man, which I'm not surprised. That's why I said I would like to check his use of force. I'd like to check his profile. I guarantee you.
So you get him pissed off, he's gonna punch you in the face.
If you make him angry enough, you're gonna get that work.
Yeah, because he was really quick. It was quick, man. He did it what he was supposed to do, man. And that hand came in, boom. Boom. So I just think that I think that's where it went wrong, because up until that point, man, I didn't have any problem with it. My man was dumb. Okay, listen, Big Ant 10 day. The channel thanks you, Big Ant. Now I don't want to read this because I know it has some shit to say about it.
It's about me. It's about me anyway.
It said,
Mr. Payne, how you doing, sir? And I wish Trey would pull me over and punch me. As my grandma used to say, it's gonna be some smoke in the city. I never understood what that meant. Look, when I was on duty, the only time I ever used strikes was when they were trying to fight me. Otherwise, we have all types of other joint manipulation things. You can use goosenecks. There's all types of other stuff that you can use. You don't have to actually punch people. That's why I said it's clearly a sucker punch. I don't know who sees anything outside of that. It's obviously a sucker punch.
So we gotta give Big Ant something though for the $10. Now I'm trying to figure out what we should give him. Maybe we should give him this because I know he ain't gonna like it. Oh,
whatever you need, my heart belongs to you. Oh, whatever you need, then nothing I won't do. Oh.
Well, you know what? That's a little bit too much. He wants whatever Big Ant wants.
King
Sean gone Barrington living all off. He always a living. Tell him something.
gang. Thanks for the $10. All right, Rooster, you back, man. So
Yeah, I had to take
all
me
right,
a
so
little
listen.
smoke break because the cop was breathing down my neck. You know what I'm saying?
You chopped down the tree out there too, I bet. You know, so,
No.
all right. So listen, the last one I was going to talk about was the police chief. I got like little clips of the police chief, and let's just go kind of parse through the police chief doing what police chief. He's a sheriff, not the chief, but he's the top dog. He's a black man, and maybe Rooster, you have something to say because this is a black dude. So clearly he's on the side of the community, right? You know, so let's hear what he has to say. Then let's kind of parse through some of his words. Where is the chief?
Look, I saw some of the interviews outside of that interview, bro, and they had some white lady. She was grilling them about certain things. And she was moving like an abolitionist, boy. She was like, "Oh, you mean to tell me this okay?" See, some white folk good now. I'm talking about they really put their neck out there for you. Let up, like.
Well, we'll come back to the white lady.
Social media is not reality. One video clip devoid of context.
You know what? I want to stop real quick. Some of the guys, because when I start hearing people say, right, social media is not reality, that's kind of true, but it's not completely true anymore. Right? There's billions of people on social media. And maybe somebody can help me out. Let's just talk about America and people who use social media. Let's just say out of the 350 million people, 250 million people and so are on social media in some way, shape, form, or fashion. The billions of people who use it, there's got to be a convergence of the outside reality and what we hear and see on social media. I mean, there's got to be, right? There's some correlation. It's not completely devoid. So when this police sergeant,
Alpine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Alpine, you've been on this network. You got hours upon hours of you being involved in a conversation. What if somebody's entire perception of you was based solely on the clip that BMU has of you talking about falling into a soft piece of pussy? What if that clip was the only perception of you? The hours upon hours of conversation that you have.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. It is good, but then again, they're not taking into account the hours and hours. They're just taking into account 10 seconds. So when we're talking, hold on, from that standpoint, that would be a misrepresentation. But now I know where you're coming from. But that's 10 seconds. So the interactions between police and people on the street, we know that that's not 10 seconds worth. That's like a microcosm of a lot of stuff. They ain't all go bad, but there's some good ones and bad ones, right? So this guy getting punched in the face. He's trying to say because it's the internet and because it was a clip out of context, we can't act like it was real. But then again, man, we can see your lying eyes. And here's the thing. That clip about me saying about the pussy, it's true. It's hard for men to turn down pussy. That's just true. It's just true. You know,
I'm a man. It ain't hard for me. I turn it down. I turn it down like the drop of a hat because it's dangerous. Some of that stuff, especially now. Maybe back in the old days, you could have dip it down, but you can't double dip right. Today, bro, you will be literally melting your Johnson off if you touch the wrong thing. No, bro,
I don't think he's. I don't know if he said that improperly. That's not what I got. I think what he's attempting to say is that social media doesn't dictate how we operate and what we do.
Okay.
I think that's what he's attempting. Maybe it just didn't come out that way, but that's what I think he's attempting to say is that we don't go based on social media. Okay. And the opinion of social media, because what happens is the court of public opinion really truly thinks that they carry a lot of weight, and at the end of the day, they don't. This is a prime example that he don't give a damn what y'all think.
And be very misleading. Okay.
Let's go ahead.
Given that McNeil never brought this incident to JSO's attention, but rather pushed the cell phone camera footage that he had in his possession since March 5th out on social media, One can only assume, and I'm saying I assume, that he intended to inflame the public.
All right. See, there again, he intended to inflame the public like punching somebody in the face wouldn't inflame the public. So how do you interpret that? I mean, he's talking from his perspective. Clearly, that guy had the footage since March, and he was trying to find a way to get somebody to help him make money out of this situation. That's why he probably didn't show it out, right?
No,
He had to get the lawyers lined up. Why not? What? Tell me why. Tell me what he did.
My good sir, I'm gonna tell you what happened. Like, if you got that type of evidence on a police officer, based on that evidence right there, bro, your family is probably in danger. Depends on if you don't get the right people to look at that and say, hey, we know this is going on, just in case if something happened to this person, just to keep everything swept under the rug, bro, you might be in trouble if you give that information to the wrong person, because what it does, it alerts officers.
Okay.
There have been incidents where officers have went to someone's house and stalked a person's house, and they told these folks, they said it, and this was a white person. He said, man, these people are after me. They are going to do something to me. And they set up a certain situation. I can't remember that man's name. Okay. Bro, that man is no longer living, man.
All right.
And then they are in Florida, bro. You got to understand, that's Florida, bro. Florida does not have no respect for black folk, bro.
We understand where you're coming from, because I did say he's holding him to the right moment. Maybe I said because he wanted to get some money out of it, but all that's included. He waited till he got my man. What's the black guy's name? The lawyer, Rooster Calhoun, whatever the fuck the guy's name. The name
it's a Crump. Did he go get
Crump? Yeah. So so it probably took time to get these guys to mobilize around him. So I don't have any problem with him waiting till the right time, just like you said, Rooster. But this chief is trying to say, well, why didn't he give it to us so we could have put it under the rug in March with nobody looking? That's what he's talking about. So, I mean, for some reason, man, he just sounds like a typical sheriff in blackface.
The administrative process is still ongoing, and as such, I will neither defend nor commend Officer Bauer's response to resistance until all the facts are known and the investigation is completed. However, as the leader of this agency, I will not remain silent while important facts and information are buried to advance an anti-police agenda.
Okay.
The truth is, William McNeil Jr. was non-compliant with JSO officers within 21 seconds after he was stopped for multiple civil infractions. His non-compliance quickly rose to the level of criminal resistance to a police officer. McNeil was arrested and pled guilty to resisting a police officer without violence. Force absolutely looks ugly. And because all force is ugly, whether or not the officer involved acted within outside JSO policy, that's still what we're investigating.
All right, so that was the end of the clip. All right, so Trey, how long does it really take to go through an investigation like that? I mean, he punched him in the face.
It depends on the compliance of McNeil. If you get, he's working with him, and go fast. But if it could take a while. I've had use of force investigations that took a year, and I've had a use of force investigation that took 6 weeks. So it just honestly depends.
So before you go, well, hold on.
That ain't what he's talking about. That ain't what he's talking about, Trey.
Hold on for a second, Lucy. Okay, so I didn't want to lose this question. All right. So some of the situations seem a whole lot more complicated than what we just saw. From the traffic stop to the breaking of the window, all that stuff was, to me, under compliance. Guy even got permission. But the sucker punch was the sucker punch. Now, when they dragged him out of the car, I don't think any of that shit was wrong, right? The only thing I would see that's under suspicion is the sucker punch. Now, because they had to drag his ass out of the car because he clearly wasn't compliant in that part, right? He was sitting there stoic, looking out and staring into space like a cadet. And they had to drag him out. Now, he's not a small guy, right? He's not like a small, dainty dude, right? So they had to go ahead and grab his ass. So I just think that if we just kind of isolate on the punch, I think the police chief is trying to intimate a little bit that his non-compliance warranted getting punched in the face.
Can I do this right quick?
Go ahead, Brewster. Go ahead.
No, I'm trying not to be so anxious, but just pay attention to what happened. He said 20-something seconds within the traffic stop, right? All this happened, right? But they are displaying the evidence that they gained after they done did everything. Fruit of the poison tree. You already punched him, you whooped him, then you finally get his information, finally figure out what's going on. You finally figure out who the car belongs to. So now, on the initial contact, what did you have? You had nothing. You didn't know who you were talking to. He was just asking questions. But after the punch, y'all got him out, slam him down. You had 2 bird dogs out there, which was the black officers, hollering and yelling right along with the white folks. Now, when they get them in the car, that's when they get all the evidence of what happened. They never saw they didn't know what was in there. Look, don't you know how many people walk around with ride around with kitchen knives in their car?
Oh yeah,
Bro, they got all of that. They ride around. Look, they got all of that after they subdued him, got him put down. Then they rifle through his pockets, get all. Now they running tags and everything, bro. All of that comes after the fact. But the first,
but
they didn't even know his name. They didn't even know his name because the car was registered to somebody else, and he didn't provide an ID that he did not have. He didn't have an ID. His license was suspended, so he wasn't gonna have a non-valid license.
Well, I don't know what he had on him, but your point really is the reason why they didn't know him because he didn't comply when they asked him to. So they had to go through all of that shit. All that wait a minute, you had your little chance. All those bird dogs and all those people out there were only there because he didn't fucking comply when the first guy asked him to come out of the car. So he wouldn't even wait a minute. Wait, he wouldn't. He only called for the backup when the guy told him, "Fuck you, I'm closing the door and I'm gonna act like a belligerent child." That's when he called.
He didn't say F you though. He did not say that.
No,
So we can't
say that.
We can't do that because what'll happen is that'll go off a different way because people will take a little bit and it'll be you said that now they'll be all over the internet saying he said F you. But
what should an officer do when he has a non-compliant subject who hasn't identified themselves?
De-escalate, talk it through. You talk it through. You had 2 people on the other side. They can clearly see him because the command of breaking the window did not come from the officer that broke the window. He was talking to the officer on the passenger side. Y'all crazy people.
Hang on. He decided to break the window after he closed the door. Remember, the door was open.
No, the door was closed for a certain amount of seconds, right?
No, sir.
So
the
stop was longer than the 20-something seconds that the chief said, right? He got the command from the person on the passenger side, bro. I can see all this, bro.
There was a point during the stop where the driver's door was open. He was in the threshold of the driver's door. He then decided to close the door. He got on the radio and said, hey, he just closed the door and he locked himself in the car. He's being non-compliant. My question to you is, at that point, what should officers do?
If you think your life is really in danger, you're supposed to back away from the dangerous site, right? Y'all got pistols and everything and assess the situation, right? See, the moment he closed that door, your car is an extension of your home, right?
Sir,
it's an extension of your home, right? Hold on, Mr.
Officer. Question. You have no answer.
No.
Instead of you just saying, I don't have a solution, you're going to try to bullshit your way around this. Just answer the question. At that point, what should officers do?
Your job, you the cop, right? Let me be the victim, and I'm gonna bullshit my way through this traffic stop. Hey, Mr. Officer, if you deem me dangerous, what are you supposed to do? If I was a person with a bomb strapped on my chest, are you going to advance on me or are you going to walk
You don't have an answer.
and move?
Just say you don't have an answer.
No. If you are afraid for your life, are you going to advance on me or are you going to stand back and watch the perimeter, make sure I ain't on the phone calling somebody to come get you?
If you want to have a conversation about,
I don't want to have no conversation with no cop, period.
Well, then you should leave then, because if you have a conversation about
I should leave. No. Are you
you
are
have
you
a-
detaining me or am I free to go? I'm free to go.
Okay.
Are you detaining me? Or am I free to
Obviously,
go?
obviously, you don't want to have a
No, I'm
mature
just messing with. I'm
conversation.
just messing with you.
Kid Booster, man, we try.
No, RP. This is great because this is what you deal with on the street, and when you get dealt
Right.
with
I'm
in a way
giving them
that
a
you
real
don't.
scenario.
No, you haven't because you never answered the question.
If me and Trey
He's
pulled up in the
distraught
same
by this,
car,
right? He's
if me
distraught
and
by
Trey
this
pulled up in the
because
same car, I would have
look,
tased you
15
before you
minutes.
knew that. I
That's
would've
what
tased
I'm
you
saying.
before.
So that's a use of force. Because look, in the United States, we have the
Yes.
constitutional right to speak. We can speak to you. If I'm not approaching you being violent,
What
guess what?
should
That's an
the
excessive use
officer
of force by me
have
talking to you.
done?
So you
Walk
should
me
not be
through
a,
it.
who is that at the top? Mr.
Walk me
Fedhead,
through it.
you should not be a cop because you don't know
Walk
how
me,
to talk to people,
walk me
or
through it.
your
What
attention
should
or
have
your
done?
patience
I
is
was
not
trained
your
in talking
patience
to
is
people,
not well
sir.
enough. Your patience is not well enough
You're
to deal with
assuming.
people that are not trying to listen to you.
You're
King
assuming.
You
Rooster,
crazy.
you gotta
You're
answer the question
assuming.
though, right?
He doesn't have any answers. He's here to clown. That's
No,
what he's
I'm
here to
not
do.
here to clown.
He's here to
So
clown.
see, that's like okay.
He's here to
Just
troll.
like just
He's here to troll.
as that
Answer
officer,
the question.
just
I asked you a
as that
simple question,
officer thought
but I'm
that
asking
guy
you.
was there to clown
But I'm
on that
I'm
traffic
asking
stop.
you. I'm
This
asking
is
you.
what happened. This is what happens. They do not have the patience, right? They don't have the de-escalating
Coming up
powers.
here,
So next what? Guess what? He
Uh-huh.
admitted he will grab the taser.
Oh, okay.
Who's going to grab the gun? Right? The next person is going to grab the gun, right? You should not apply for to be a CO, a military personnel person, or
All right,
whatsoever,
man.
because
We
you
gotta
lack
stay on point,
He
man.
wants
the
to
patience,
preach.
bro.
Yeah, that's all he wants to do.
Too
He
bad
wants
you
to
failed
preach.
out of
God
two of
forbid
He
he
wants to
those.
preach.
become a
You
He
failed
bus
out of two
driver.
of those.
Don't
Hold on
become
for
a
a second.
bus
Solutions.
driver.
All right.
He has
Attorney.
no
You
solutions.
lack the
He has none.
patience.
All right.
He has none.
Okay.
These
Hold
are the
on for a second.
these are
All right. Let me put you in the back for a hot second here. All right. What's going on, Coach? You know, just chill out, my man. Yeah, I'm gonna bring you back up in a second, but we gotta give us some decorum here, man. What's up, Coach? What's up? Yeah, you on mute.
You on mute, Coach?
I'm gonna take a smoke break right quick. I smoke
My
black
bad.
now.
I'm sorry,
I
man.
gotta
I
go
was
outside.
talking.
What's up,
Can y'all hear
man?
me?
What
How
up
y'all
with you,
doing, man?
coach? What up with you, coach? I'll get them rundown,
Trey,
but I'm
Trey,
gonna
hold up. Let me talk to Trey. Trey, listen. You're a military mind, man. You ain't gonna win no argument talking to these crack era victims, man. They don't see it like you see it. They ain't gonna see it like you see it. They the type will argue with the teacher about the homework they didn't turn in. They're the type that will argue the fact that they gambled the rent money, and you should be okay with that shit. It ain't go. I don't listen to it like, who in the hell got time to be waiting 45 minutes to talk to a slow ass nigga at a traffic stop? You was violated when you pulled off in the car without your driver's license. That's on your dumb ass. Ignorance of the law, folks, is no excuse. You going to talk to the supervisor. Trey's supervisor talking to 42 other people. It's going to be 2 hours later. What are we talking about? Yes. He was sitting out with his Jordans in the car door for 45 minutes. Get out the car. Matter of fact, give me your license, man. So my wife just made a motherfucking apple pie. I gotta go eat. It's warm. I like it warm. You gonna make me stay here extra. But he knew he was violated. But again, right, you can't argue with the victims' crack era generation, man.
Hey, Coach, can I tell you what this is? This is what I got from it. You know how like sometimes when you go into like certain restaurants or like fast food or like maybe stores and you're dealing with the person that works there, they're not really giving you no grace because they kind of doing their job. So you ask to speak to the supervisor because they might cut you a break. You know what I mean? They may be willing to work with you. I think he knew his time was up, and that's why he started asking for the supervisor. So maybe I could talk to the supervisor. Maybe the supervisor might cut me a break. But what people don't realize is your sergeants don't actually get to make any decisions. That's not how it works in the police department. Like the sergeant can't tell you who to arrest unless you're like doing like protesting type stuff. They can tell you. But like if I walk onto a scene, if I'm the lead officer on that scene and I have probable cause, the sergeant can't tell me like, oh no, don't arrest. If I say, oh, I got probable cause, the sergeant just has to kind of stand by and be like, all right, well, can't really stop him. There's nothing I can really do because he's got probable cause to make an arrest. You really are an individual. The only time what the sergeants will do is they'll say, hey, let's talk through this. And they might see something that may get you in trouble down the line. So they might say, hey, let's talk through this and maybe you'll change your mind. But in most cases, the sergeants kind of pull back. They kind of let you be. Now, lieutenants and captains are different. They'll tell you straight up, nah, we ain't making no arrests. Leave that alone. You know what I mean? Like, we ain't doing that. But I bet you this was a situation where he looked at it. He was like, I'm cooked. Maybe if I can get a sergeant out here, maybe if I get lucky and get a black female sergeant out here, she'll be lenient on me and I might be able to get out of this. When he realized that wasn't going to happen, he flipped into the other mode. And that was because you can hear him say, I mean, he must have said about 20 times he wanted to supervise, get your supervisor out here, which typically means I want to talk to somebody else because maybe they'll tell y'all to leave me alone. And it doesn't work. It just doesn't work that way. I don't understand that.
You did good right there. But I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. Most likely when you gonna catch a break as a young black man, it's gonna be a male. Usually the sergeants, they bite the female sergeants, they bite harder. They don't give a damn about nothing. A lot of them hide and get a conflict. So they just come out there and clean up the mess, bro. This is what I'm saying. He already knew he was cooked. He played that role, called supervisor because he might have knew somebody in that police department, right? If he thinking he can get them out and explain what's going on, yeah, he could have got a little freedom. But once you are a black person and you see those, what they call them Patriot Front, young white boys out there, gung-ho ready to get down, bro, you better call a nigga somewhere and you better hope it ain't one of them Jim Crow South black boys out there just like when he got slammed. The first thing y'all saw one cop, it was two black cops out there. It was two black cops out there, and the only thing you see that black cop do is touch him this much with his hand. His hand was on his back like that, but he was hollering. But know why he didn't want to get too far involved with it? Because in the back of his mind, he know when these go down, we the first one to go. I'm finna show y'all something about these black communities, bro. Once you find a community, hold on, let me tell you this. We know it's in the wrong because look, these black communities got these black sheriffs, these black mayors, and all that shit. The white folks don't wash their hands with the community. They don't wash their hands. They don't want it. They move to the outskirts in the woods somewhere. They don't want nothing to do with that.
Oh, dumbass.
Yeah, they don't want. Man. Hold on. Okay, man. We got you. Go ahead, Fred. What you got to say, bro?
Listen, man. I don't know what y'all state requirements are for tent. Most tent, when you get I don't know the numbers, 0, 15, 20%. Yes, you might get some police officers. If you breaking the law with your car tent, you're going to get pulled over. People amaze me. They act like police are project niggas, right? They're trained to observe things from a distance, not when they roll up behind you. They didn't already peeped you giving your transaction 3 blocks away. This is old. This is shit they used to do. Right? This is shit they used to. But regardless of what it is, right? Will everybody in your town go protest at the police courthouse tomorrow? No. They're going to go to work for the white man. The problem is this. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Police are keeping up with the technology too. If he wasn't driving with
no, they're not. No, they're not.
Okay. Then. Well, that's why they can figure out crime. That's why they figure out crimes and they know what's what. Yes.
They figure out crime these days because they have agents on the internet, bro. I'm telling you, they have people that
because they got Rooster.
No,
they figure out crimes in the black neighborhood because they got snitching ass niggas that's gonna be
because they got Facebook.
To the
everybody's
law, right?
recording the fights.
The ones
everybody's
that's walking around the
everything. Coach, they snitch on themselves.
Exactly.
Ain't nobody tell them to post that shit on Instagram. They do it to themselves.
Yes. And they got the ones.
And let me tell you something else. These guys are so thirsty. All we gotta do is put a pretty cop in an Instagram page, and she'll get all the information. I know because my ex was one of them. She get all the information. She friends with all the dope boys in the neighborhood.
Cops don't like
Man,
cops,
listen, man.
especially off duty. They don't.
Hey, listen, okay, so
Man, I've seen so
everybody,
much.
so listen,
Boy,
we've
I've
been,
seen
we've
so
been
much.
hitting this one to death. I think we have a little consensus, a little bit, that I think it was a sucker punch, but nothing's gonna come of it. Maybe another letter gets in my man's jacket. You know, Robert W. already said he punched somebody else in the face a little while ago. You know, the one question I would have: how much more would it take for him to elevate to deleting somebody because he's mad?
Who's at the cop?
If he keeps getting away with it.
It'll catch up.
They said that cop,
It'll
that cop. Hold on, that cop was relieved of duty, bro. That cop. I don't think he was fired, but he is not. He's
probably on administrative leave.
Administrative leave with pay.
Yeah.
Administrative leave with pay.
Yeah,
So he's on vacation right now with he's married. He's having a good time. He's getting paid. That's all.
I've been on administrative leave with pay. It's a great time.
It's a great time.
Oh, so you bragging on wasting the taxpayers' money for your mess ups, right?
Yeah,
so
sure.
Jacksonville's
Yeah, of course we am.
Jacksonville's water bill are about to go up, and they tag prices about to go up because a stupid officer decided.
No. You're not gonna do that. No, you're not gonna do that. No, you're not gonna do that because your alternative is for me to waste 3
My
hours.
alternative is for cops to pay. Look, cops need to have that $1 million. No, cops need to pay that $1 million insurance for themselves. So when they mess up, your water bill don't go up if you stay in the great state of Florida. Your trash bill don't go up because guess what? The reason why they still doing what they are doing because the citizens pay for the mess up of cops. They don't. Every time y'all think y'all got to win, it's like the George Floyd situation. Everybody was marching and talking about we got to win, but all at the same time, what happens is
stop paying your taxes.
Your sewage bill goes up.
Stop paying your taxes.
Water bill goes up. But y'all think y'all getting the win. But guess what? Y'all neighborhood, the same black person that got hurt, y'all paying for the person getting put in the grave. Bro, y'all paying for it. The cops goes on to the next county. The cops goes on to the next county and kick another one of y'all and get real in.
So what's the solution?
The Medicaid raise the light bill too?
You talking about the Medicaid raise the light bill?
Do the daycare raise the taxes too?
I think Medicaid pays a lot of y'all light bills.
So King,
the crack era babies, right? Medicaid and food stamp paid a lot of y'all light bills. Medicaid, food stamp, and all that.
You ain't gonna be quiet up here. You gotta be quiet.
Okay, so you
how you know I ain't gonna be quiet? Give me a chance first.
Hey, King, give me a chance. It's time for you to. I have to put you in the back, man. Listen. You got to give some. What's your solution? What is your solution to? Give us a couple of steps that a regular black kid, black woman should do in a traffic stop. What should you do if it's a traffic? What should they do?
Okay, for all you city goers,
cop stops you,
and you city dwellers, look at them police, whether they white or black, like you are a safari animal. Avoid them because they are gatherers, hunters. They are look. Y'all heard of the Brown Roundup? I'm answering. Avoid them at all costs, bro. Look, make sure everything is 10 and 2. No, make sure as a black person, once you go outside, make sure everything is intact. Check your pockets. Make sure ain't nothing out of place.
And the 3-piece suit and still get pulled over. What's up now?
It's a you problem.
You are fucking nigga.
That's a you problem. You did it all right?
He has no answers. I keep trying to tell you. I don't know why. I'm done asking the question. He has no solution. He has no solution, bro.
That's just funny.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I've been pulled over in Virginia quite a few times. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, by the way. And the first thing I would
chew tobacco ain't got no front teeth. God no.
The first thing I would say. First thing I would say is you have to fill out the tenor of the officer. You got to feel them out. Did he just catch his wife cheating on him? And he having a really bad day? Because if he is, you might just want to comply with everything that's going on and just take that ticket. Because it could go left quick, fast, and in a hurry. Or is there somebody who's just kind of like, hey man, you're going a little fast. You know, what's going on? And you can try to feel them out. If you can't do that, then I think the best thing for you to do is just hand over your license, your registration, proof of insurance, and just go with it and then fight and have your day in court. And the thing about this is, and I said, I've been to a bunch of adjudications. I've seen people get tickets thrown out for silly reasons. Because the adjudicators, for most part, they kind of on y'all side. And that's always the vibe I got when I was in there. I'm like, damn, whose side you on? You working for the city or you working for them? Like, who is it? If you went in there and you said, you know, the officer gave me the wrong badge number. I remember one time a guy wrote his badge number incorrectly on the ticket. They threw the whole thing out. Like, they're looking for reasons to throw it out. As an officer, you got to be damn near perfect. You can't bring in any video footage. I wore body cam. I couldn't take the body cam in there at all because there's no digital. They don't allow anything digital. So everything's got to be printed out. So if I didn't bring the ticket in there with me, let me tell you how bad it was. Uncle Jeff, on some real shit. We used to not bring the tickets in, and the tickets used to get thrown out. We used to just throw it out because we didn't bring the actual ticket with us. They actually assigned female officers down to the adjudicator, and their sole job was just when you went in, you checked in with the ladies, they printed out the ticket for you so you could take it there because they were tired. They were tired of getting tickets thrown out. Most cases, if you actually just kind of just take the ticket and go fight it, you'll actually probably get out of it. I'm not saying it's 100% proof, but 90% of the time you'll probably get out of that ticket.
Yeah, I did once. But go ahead, Uncle Jeff. What's up, man? Hey.
Okay, first off, okay, real quick, love to the chat. Love to the room, man. Everybody up here is cooking. To co-sign first, the first thing I want to do is co-sign what Trey's talking about. The chief reason is this. Anybody smart enough to take the transcripts of a court for your case to judicial review, that judge's ass is on the line now. The judge in judicial review is looked at as counsel for the plaintiff. That's why in traffic, they take counsel for the plaintiff because it's on me if somebody's smart enough to go, I'm not going to stop here with this ticket. These things were out of order. The radar was not calibrated. All of those things count against the judge in a judicial review. So that's why they don't play with cops there. Number two, I'm going to use the word racist here, even though I don't mean it because I know better, but Black people are so comfortable. So I'll use it. You're not going to unracist the cop by the side of the road.
No.
You're not going to turn back the hands of time on the side of the road. Okay? When the lights come on behind you, you just lost. It's just a matter of how much. The first thing you're going to lose is time. You didn't count this in on wherever you was going. So you're going to lose time. Two, if you out here riding dirty with your dumb ass, with, and I'm not saying don't ride dirty. I'm saying if you're going to ride dirty, go 2 miles under the flow of traffic on the right-hand side. Make sure that make sure all your lights work. Obey all the rules of the road. Make sure your car is squeaky clean. Do not stick out, dumbass, if you gonna ride dirty. If you get caught riding dirty, shut the fuck up and take it. Just take it. You was riding, I didn't rode dirty. This ain't coming from some self-righteous place. I rode dirty, but I rode dirty by these rules for years. Next, I was just pulled at the end of last week on my way to my daughter's thing. I got off with a warning because I passed the attitude test. It's very simple. When you are pulled over, and I wasn't pulled over, I stopped. That's another thing. If cops follow you for more than 1/8 of a mile, pull over and turn on your hazard lights. Because now, when they go to court, they can't say that they pulled you over. They didn't. You stopped and put your hazard lights on and they pulled up behind you. Different matter. Mm-hmm. When I did that, I pulled over I turn my hazard lights on. I turn my headlights on. I put my hands on the steering wheel. I put my wallet in my lap and my hand on the steering wheel with my fingers open. Also dangling from my rearview mirror is a United States Marine Corps medallion. When the officer asked for my license and registration, I made him aware that it was above me in my visor, and I asked for permission to move toward it. All of those things indicate he finna go home tonight. I'm articulate. I'm intelligent. I'm courteous, and I'm not kissing his ass one bit. You can be all of those things without being a kiss ass. Ain't nobody asking you to kiss this dude's ass. Ain't nobody telling you that this dude is not going to be an asshole. We're not discussing that. We're not discussing you getting beat down. Those things happen. What we're saying is that it's not a good idea to poke the lion in the eye with a stick when you're in a cage with him. And all of your animosity is for naught by the side of the road. You're not going to win that. You're going to win it. Here's how you win it. Like Trey said, take your ticket home and study the shit out of it. I'll land here. Go to YouTube and research how to beat a ticket for blank. And watch all those videos. I tell you something you can do. That works here. That definitely works here. Is you can move your court date here for your ticket if you have to. If you got pulled over during the daytime, move your ticket tonight, or vice versa. That cop don't want to come in on the time he ain't in. That's get thrown out on that. Or all the shit that Trey said. Mix the shit we all said, because it all makes sense. I'm done.
Hell yeah, because Uncle Jeff, I wasn't going in on my day off. If they scheduled that thing on my day off, I wasn't going.
Bruh.
So you just come on. So you just got out of that ticket. And let me add one more thing, Arpain. Every government or jurisdiction, they may have, if you can afford it, I don't know everybody's money, but they may have like the little traffic lawyers that actually work down there. Their whole sole job is to study these tickets and to get you out of it, or to get you some what do they call it? Some relief on the ticket. Like say your ticket was $200. They try to get your ticket down to $50. Like that's their whole job. There was this one guy, I couldn't stand him, man, because he was so damn good at what he did, man. I was like, damn, this motherfucker good. And every ticket I went in there against him on, he got them relief down to like $20, bro. He was so good at it. So that is an option. I don't know what they call them in y'all jurisdiction, but they call them like we used to call them traffic attorneys. Is what we call them. And they had these guys who come in and they'll be able to really look at this ticket and say, oh, don't worry about this. You're gonna get this thrown out. I had this guy 2 weeks ago. He write bad tickets. Don't even worry about it. Because there's also a portion on the back we have to fill out. We're supposed to write notes on this. Like we're supposed to fill out the whole thing and say, I pulled him over. It was raining. It was cloudy. It was sunny. There were kids on the street. And then he would, this is how I learned, because I didn't do it and I lost. He said, this officer didn't write any notes. So how is he recalling this from his memory? He has hundreds of calls a week. How can he remember this? And the adjudicator said, yeah, there's no notes. How do you know? How do you remember this case? Cool. I'm done. It's over. Boom. Have a nice day. So just look at your options. I want for people in our community to start getting to a point where you actually can speak on what actually happened in front of somebody who will actually listen to you. That's what I want. Now, on the scenes, you might get the right cop, you might get the wrong cop. It just depends. But if you get into that courtroom or you get into that adjudicated room, they're going to listen to you because they want to hear, okay, what actually happened. And Uncle Jeff is right. There is a sense of liability on them, especially where I work, because they weren't like actual judges. They were like civilians, you know what I mean? And so they didn't want to lose that good, cushy GS-14, whatever job they had. They weren't trying to lose that job. So there's ways around this. I do understand how people feel. I get it that a lot of us feel like no matter what I do, they can still do it. That there is some truth to that. It's a very low statistic, but there is some truth to that. But I would much rather see you alive and being able to actually talk these things out rather than it being the other way around. And now the police officers get to tell the whole story, and all we got to go against it is the body cam footage.
Or do you want to fight, or do you want to whine? Do you want to be right about the fact that the cops are bigots? You're right. Do you want to be right about the fact that the court system ain't shit? You're right. Do you want to be right about the fact that cops beat people down and put dope on them? You're right. Do you also want to fight? Because here's some tools. Now, you can tell me about that other shit, but then you just proven how much you just want to talk about being victimized. I don't have much time for that. I don't have that, and that's another thing about the military. We're solution oriented.
Right.
We're solution. Now, the first thing, shout out to Rooster. Rooster was giving y'all solutions. a lot of niggas don't want them. Now, you may not have liked how he put them. He brought them to you in a brown paper bag, but they were solutions. They were solutions. But most niggas don't want to hear solutions. Most niggas want to sit around and complain about being niggas. And if that's what you want to do, then don't listen to that. Oh, yeah, here's something else you don't do with your dumb asses. Don't say to the cop the shit we said to you so you can sound smart to the cop. You just told him all his homework, dumbass. Do you want to win or not? How do you want to win? Yes. Do you want a feminine win where you tell that cop and put him in his place right there? Or do you want a masculine win where when you go to court, you catch him on a formality and wish him a nice day on the way to your car? Which one you want?
That hurts more, Uncle Jeff. I'm telling you, losing them cases hurts. I'm telling you, I didn't have prosecutors look at me and like, what the fuck? Look me dead in my eye like, what the fuck was that? Because they just lost, and it was our fault. The officer's fault. It was our fault. Like they don't like that, bro. They don't like that stuff at all.
Because that's a L on their record.
All right, so we're gonna have to do like final thoughts, man. We gotta get out of here in around 5 minutes. All right, so look, Bruce,
I'm gonna be out. I already said my final thoughts. I just want y'all to stay alive so you can actually fight it. Y'all fellas be safe out here, man.
All right, Trey. Thanks for coming up, man. All right. Hey, Bruce.
Same here, man. Same here, man. I'm up.
You cut out? You got a final thought? You cut out?
Let me see. Okay, I'll say. Okay, yeah, I'll say. I'll stick around for a minute.
Let him get his 1 minute, and so we can move on. Go ahead, Rooster. Yeah. What's your final thoughts, brother? Oh man, you had a lot to
Lord
say.
Jesus, he gonna grab me by my collar and keep my keister out the door. Look at him. He just treat me like old police, look crack baby. You know what I'm saying? But look, the only thing I can say, Jeff, was speaking to what I was saying, but just like I said, I brought it to you in a brown paper bag. You either accepted it or hey, deal with the consequences. When you decide to get out in this world, you always self-preservation. You know what you're doing. You know how you're riding. Get it together before you go. No matter it's a right way to do wrong. If you're gonna ride dirty, make sure everything intact because it's gonna be a hell of a ride. You might, you might need, but y'all be safe. You know what I'm saying? Don't handle your business on the side of the road now.
Nice meeting you, brother. All right, hey, go ahead first.
All right.
Oh man, listen, like you know, Jeff said this is similar, man. Listen, man, it's a different mindset, man, that people, you know, who've actually been in situations where you had to think through the process. And you know, fighting it on that front is the wrong battle to have. And this is where I think if we're gonna act like we know our laws and our rights, go ahead and get my little ticket because I still got this bag of weed I was still trying to smoke. See, that's the thing. He had a whole lot going on, and he was trying to hold them accountable for his F-ups out the gate. Suspended license. And they would know this, but you clearly knew you had a suspended license. I ain't got time to wait 3 or 4 hours. So, you know, listen, man, the punch through the glass, I would like to think how much patience Jeff had after he told him 42 times to roll down the window. And if he would have punched it, he might would have caught him. But it's just, you know, it's just a different listen, man, young
Let's
folk.
land it. Let's land it. We gotta go.
All right, so let me land it right. Young folk,
All right, man. Thanks for coming up.
stop
Man.
crying about fucking the law. Follow the law of the land. I get the hell on. We
All
passed this crybaby shit.
All right. Go ahead, Jeff. We'll get to 100. 1 minute here. We got
Okay. Yeah.
You said some good stuff
piggyback-
already.
but thank you, brother. Stop. You're under the illusion that the playing field is equal, no matter how much you say that it isn't. Because if you understood truly that the playing field was unequal, then you would understand that there are ways you're supposed to move behind enemy lines. When you behind enemy lines, you don't talk about how much you don't like the enemy. You move around and with the enemy. Learn where your feet is, black people, because all this under your feet finna change. But with all that, oh yeah, and no, these are not veneers, and I don't have any.
All right. All right.
All right,
Go ahead. Yeah, thanks a lot, Jeff. Go ahead, 100.
Well, it's not rocket science. It's not hard. It's one thing I will say that nobody has said yet. Some of y'all need to work on how you express fear. We all know that feeling that we get when the police is behind us, when those lights get turned on, when your booty hole get tight. But the way that y'all start expressing fear when you got weed in your car and you driving with no driver's license, you start doing bullshit like arguing with the police. Figure out how to work with your fear, because it got you doing dumb shit. If you figure out how to work things out when you scared and your booty hole tight, you'll be able to have better results. I think that's one thing that nobody touched on in this entire situation.
All right. Listen, man. You know, we want to get out of here on time, and PMU going to do some things with this. Hey, listen, everybody who showed up in the chat, thank you, Antoine and Robert W. Big Hand for the contributions. Jeff for stopping up. King Roos, I haven't seen him before, but Trey and Ferg. Hey, listen, what I wanted to do with this show was end with some kind of solutions and conclusions. So I think we accomplished that. Because really, the traffic stop and all that shit in the black community should be the one thing we have down. We know everybody kind of knows what not to do when you're in front of a person with a license to kill. And whoever's teaching those kids to be belligerent and idiots at the scene, outside in the street, when you're vulnerable the most, they're doing the community a big disservice. I mean, it's as simple as that. So that was my man, William McNeil's biggest problem. Just get this shit over with and handle it in court. Anyway, with that, man, we're out, man. Thanks for stopping by. 100. We're good. We'll be back next week with something else. All right, then on, chat and everybody else. BM News channel, over and out.